Hi, it's Lindsey and Hillary, and we're from Mama Bear Apologetics. And we are just so excited to reach out to you today on this Giving Tuesday and talk to you about the things that Mama Bear has done in the past and where we're heading next year in 2024. To open, I just want to tell you kind of where we've come from since I've joined the Mama Bear family in 2018. We've published several books. And we're grateful that those have been well received and that you've been using them and applying them in your families and in your churches. We also have a speaking team, and we travel very frequently all across the country, hopefully the world soon. And we're just really grateful for a blossoming podcast and a blossoming blog where we're adding contributors and writers, and we're offering opportunities for other guests to come and join us and really expand our ability to help you equip yourself so that you can equip your kids in the world of apologetics and renewing your own Christian faith and growing your own Christian faith so that it can grow in your children. So today, Hillary and I just want to give you a quick overview of where we've been specifically and where we're going to head and how you can help us get there. Hillary, can you tell us some of the exciting things that we've done in the past with donations that we've received from our donors?
Yeah, I would say for the first several years, nobody on Mama Bear was paid, including you. And you were
This
basically
is
the one
true.
that kept our blog going when we were writing the first book with your World Religion series. And so it was a really big deal when we finally were able to start paying the people that are doing a lot of the work, at least a small stipend. And so just being able to not only just pay some for the content that's coming out, but also all the things that just make running a ministry really tedious. So all the things like working on the website and editing the podcasts and creating notes and social media and I mean just all the little things that go into running a ministry so that people know who you are, you're in constant communication with them. All of that costs money, and so we have just been adding, I always say that Mama Bear has been held together with duct tape and bubble gum for a really long time. And I would say that our reach has actually been pretty good for the resources. I think we've managed our resources really well. And as we're going to talk about a little bit later, we have upped our budget a little bit to bring on some new people. So for all of the stuff that we do, including like 7 contractors, all the podcast creation, all the everything, it's about $100,000 a year. I mean, think about that, $100,000 a year. There's a lot of people that make more than that in just one job. And this is 7 people plus all the subscriptions, all the editing, all the everything. And so we are trying to really leverage the passion that people have that are volunteering with us, and find people who are excellent at what they do to make our lives easier in order to running a lot of behind the scenes things. But we really cannot do that without the help of the faithful Mama Bears and Papa Bears and Grandmama Bears and Grandpapa Bears that have been supporting this ministry.
All of them, and most of them just so quietly.
Yes.
They have just given us without asking anything in return.
Mm-hmm.
They've cheered us on, and thinking about that and the cheering on that has happened behind the scenes. Can you tell me about your happy file?
Yes. So I started something called a happy file back when I was a teacher in a disciplinary school, where
Yeah.
sometimes you just need a little reminder why you do what you do. So now that, I'm doing Mama Bear, I have a happy file again. I've got several here that I've printed out. I was going through them today, but I just want to share one of them that this kind of tells you what we're doing here at Mama Bear. This is from someone named Sarah, and she says, I need to share just how much you have helped me. My church is big on apologetics, but I just never felt that it applied to me. I love the history of it, and I know the importance of knowing why I believe what I do, but I never felt compelled to it. Putting it into perspective of my children changed my entire mindset. I've always wanted to help build their armor of God that they need for this world. And Mama Bear has helped me help them in ways that I wasn't sure how. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you are doing. So I think this is exactly the kind of Mama Bear that we are going after, the one that is strong in her faith, and she realizes, hey, apologetics might not affect me, but it might affect my children. It's not going to affect my faith, but it might affect my children's, and has just taken up that banner to say, how can I equip my children better? And that we put things into really understandable resources. And this really, I mean, letters like this is exactly why we do what we do.
It is literally what our mission is
Yes, it
to
is.
equip the moms so that they can equip their kids.
Exactly.
But we're not just reaching moms, we're
Yeah.
reaching dads and grandparents and aunts and uncles and people who don't have children,
School
who
teachers.
anybody who is related to children in any way.
Yeah.
They seem to grasp on to what our mission is and recognize the value of instilling apologetics in children, because frankly the culture is instilling values in our kids as well, and we need to counterbalance that, and help them recognize truth in a world full of falsehood.
Yeah.
And so I think that people are starting to understand that more and more, and Mama Bear has sort of jumped into the arena to help equip families so that they don't feel like they're doing it all on their own.
Yeah, and do it in a way that is really, mama bear friendly, in the sense of
Mhm.
we're, as your book coming out says, that we are being bridge builders and not just, being combative and fighting, but we are actually building bridges, and we are learning how to listen. We're learning how to discuss and not just talk at people.
Right, right. So what are some exciting things that we have on the horizon in 2024?
Okay, I'm super excited about this. So
Do.
we have had, I was going to jokingly like put a huge stack of papers and be like, this is all the emails we've gotten, but just kidding. It's our shred pile. No, but we've had so many people ask, do you have any kind of video curriculum for the Mama Bear apologetic stuff? And so in the past, we have not had the permissions to do that. It actually was belonged to the publisher, and the publisher has since given us back the rights to create video curriculum. So we actually have a team right now that is working on video curriculum, and we have a church in Florida that is willing to record it for us. But again, this is one of the things that we really, really hope to create for the Mama Bears upcoming for this next year. And the other thing that I really wanted to have for a long time is a dedicated graphic designer who Amy and I are always talking about, oh, we should print this off, or we should have this printed off for people, or, we can have this manual and we can, design it so it looks really nice. But, let's be honest, we're writers. We don't have time to design. So
Well, no, Hill, you are very talented in that area, and you have been doing the work in the past for us. A lot of times, if we need an image, you're the one who makes it.
yeah,
And
that is
we have
true.
not had somebody who we actually pay to help us do this. And so this is really taking some of the weight off of your shoulders
Yeah.
so that you can focus on the writing and the podcast and whatnot, and allow somebody else who is gifted in the area to help us really grow that.
Yes, yes. And you're right. It does take a huge weight off my shoulders, because like I can do it. It just takes me a long time, and I'm a perfectionist. So anyway, that's another thing that we hope to be offering, especially to our donors, to if there's things that would help posting up around the house, things to put on your mirror, prayers for your kids that you want to have, that we can have something beautiful that you can print out for that. And so that's one of the things we hope to have coming up in the future. We'll see all the things that she'll be able to help do for us. So we're very, very excited about that.
Speaking of prayers, there's a book also being released in the spring, I believe.
What a great segue. Yes, Honest Prayers for Mama Bears is going to be coming out April 2nd. And so this is a little bit of a departure from the books that we've done, in the sense that this is not as much research heavy as it is. I think the first two books are very information heavy, and sometimes we just kind of need a place to decompress with what we've learned. And so the purpose behind Honest Prayers for Mama Bears is to not feel like you have to have all these perfect words in order to pray, but to really pray what you're thinking. And I explained in the intro that my first really honest prayer. Now, I had honest prayers before that were like pointless honest prayers. Like, I'm always like, as a middle schooler, asking for some boy to like me. That's not the kind of honest prayer we're talking about. Although there's nothing wrong with that. That helped build a habit of authenticity. Yes. But my freshman year of high school, I prayed, Lord, I can tell that I don't desire you like other people do, but I really want to. And I saw the Lord fulfill that prayer, that he knew that I wasn't pursuing him as much as I could, that I was content with wherever I was. And I just went ahead and said it out loud to him in a letter. And that was like that was the most effective, honest prayer I've ever prayed in my life. And so we're trying to have a whole bunch of prayers like that, where we talk about, when you just can't even in your Bible study, and divided into when there's people that you really don't like, but you want to like them, and just being honest about where we are. I think, and this isn't just me, it's also Julie Lose, who did all the prayers for the first two books. And we have probably about 25 different contributors from the Mama Bear community. And I think one of my favorite titles so far is Help Me to Not Screw Up My Toddler.
Oh, yes, because you feel like that when you have toddlers, that you're gonna mess them up somehow.
Yeah.
So I think that's a prayer that most moms have experienced at some point in their children's younger years.
Yeah.
And I love that you reached out to people and asked them to write prayers. That really makes this book somewhat unique, because it's not just our team contributing to it.
It's a community. It's the Mama Bear community
of Mama Bears, which we rely on for prayers and words of encouragement. And frankly, we rely on the Mama Bear community for money as well. So talk to me about
add that in.
Talk to me about how much we need, how are we gonna get there?
Yeah. So I did the whole thing. I added up all the things for how much we're paying for the 7 contractors, maybe some of the additional contract work we would like to have, the podcast creation. We would like to actually start paying our contributors for the first time for their contributions. I mean, they're not going to be making bank or anything, but at least something for the blogs and the podcasts that they're putting together. And then the subscriptions, the Canva, the Zoom, the Riverside, all the different things that go into technology. And so we came out with the number about $101,000. So just like a hair over $100,000. And just remember, this is everything. This is everything that we're doing. We've had some people. Were you on that thread where some guy was like claiming that we all lived in multi-million-dollar houses and stuff? I was like, would you like to know our budget for the whole year? So the number that we kind of came up with, if we want to, everybody has to have like a what is it, a thing or whatever, be one of the 500. You be one of the 500. If we had 500 people donate $200 flat rate, we could pay for the entire ministry for a whole year. Now, we still encourage, if you'd like to just do a monthly donation, that's nice, because that kind of gives us security for the future, knowing how much we come in. But at minimum, we want to track, can we get 500 people to give $200? That would cover our budget for the entire year. So that is our ask. And, you have not because you ask not, so we're asking.
And that, to be clear, that does cover the 26 podcasts. So every other week we publish a podcast, and it covers all of the blogs as well, and other content that we might create from our new graphic designer that we can push out. We've also got several guides available on our website that are downloadable for free. We don't charge for those.
Yes.
And that cost is covered in these donations. And all of the donations that we collect here at Mama Bear are tax deductible. You can either donate by clicking the link below the video or in the notes, or you can go directly to our website and click donate. But we would really just be grateful if you can't afford to help us financially. We would be grateful if you would pray for us, add us to your prayer list, and keep us in prayer. We have a prayer team that supports us as individuals, but we would love it if we could have more people praying for us and in the mission and carrying out the mission that God has called us to do. And we also love words of encouragement. Add to Hillary's happy file.
Add to my happy file.
And send us some happy notes, whether that's on our social media accounts or via our email. We would love to hear from you and how we can help you equip yourself so that you can equip your kids. But we're just so grateful that you've watched this video and that you've learned a little bit more about what we want to do. Hill, do you have any closing words?
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I just want to emphasize what the Lord has done with this ministry that is just so far beyond what we ever asked or imagined. I mean, to use biblical phrase, like I said, we've been held together with duct tape or bubble gum, and we have no business having the kind of reach that we've had. But we have never focused on numbers. We've never focused on kind of, where we want to be, how many downloads, how, it's usually a surprise when once a year before our board meeting, we're like, go and look at it. We're like, oh, wow, that's pretty good. But all of this is just because this is what God has called us to do, and we want to be faithful in that. And so just specific prayer requests, I guess, for us would be specifically praying over just the spiritual attack that comes from ministry. And I think that's something that anyone who's in formal ministry understands, and people who aren't in formal ministry, you sometimes don't understand some of the stuff that comes at you. So thank you so much for the way you supported us. We love it when you interact with our material on Facebook and on Instagram, when you make comments, when you share anything that you can do, not to get the name of Mama Bear out there. We really couldn't care less, but to help equip other moms, other parents. Every time we get one of these emails, we say, doggone it, that's exactly why we do what we do. Yeah. So, yeah, let's just be the community. Let's be the body of Christ. And thank you for being on this journey with us.
Thank you. And with that, we hope that you have a wonderful Giving Tuesday.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.